Good morning, all y'all. How are you this gorgeous Tuesday morning? Depending on whose clock you see, we're right at 10 o'clock, right on the money this time. Oh, goodness. So, what's going on out there? Did you guys have a good weekend? Did you have a good weekend? I had a pretty, it was a good weekend. It was a little busy. I've had busier, but we had a few things going on um, over the weekend. Nothing too exciting. No catastrophes or anything. Church and stuff like normal. Well, today is episode 57 on April the 25th. Change that date just for my own records. 2023. We'll be uploading the podcast a little later today. Technically, it's episode 57th of the Holstein House podcast, and a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States and around the world sometimes. Food preparation, storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We go round the table and back in 60 minutes or less, usually. Sometimes we go over. So there's quite a few things I want to kind of touch on today. In addition to the normal things, I want to kind of touch on something it's not like earth shattering with Airbnb, and it doesn't change the way people reserve rooms or anything like that or their rates. But it's just something that I picked up on when I was in the hosts forum the other day, and I thought I'd talk about it for a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about Nostr and NostrNests, and hopefully a little continue a little bit of the discussion we started on Friday on building Bitcoin reservation process or systems, and a few more things. I had a long conversation off and on Friday with some folks about how to incorporate um, the transfer of fiat dollars to bitcoins as part of the room reservation process. So hopefully we'll get around to that before the time is up for us today. In the meantime, what I want to do is remind you, pardon me, that the podcast premiered on Fountain.fm. It's my favorite podcast client, and we joined that as part of the Value for Value exchange. And if you find anything that I offer you valuable, I hope you'll share that in expression of value with Satoshis and things, and share the podcast out with your friends and families and folks that might be interested a little bit in some of the things that we have going on here. We do populate to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, and a bunch of the other ones. But we lean towards Fountain FM a little heavier than some of the others. I hope you will take the time to, click the thumbs up, click the likes, boost, um, zap. That's a new one. Zap. And subscribe. Please subscribe and share the information, share the links and the information with your friends and family, because the bigger the community, the more we can discuss and the more things we can resolve or fix or identify even. Sometimes there are things going on that we don't really pick up on until we start seeing patterns from other folks. So it'd be nice to have you share that out, help grow the channels, not just the YouTube channel, but the Fountain FM channels and the Rumbles and the Clapper and the Tiki Talkies and all the other ones that we're on. We're on most of the major ones. MeWe and freesteading, and I'm on all of those. I'm not real active on all of those because there's just one of me, and it's just really hard to get to them all the time. But I hope you will share that around. So we'll get started this morning. We'll talk a little bit about home and garden. I don't have a real strict formal outline, but I do have a little bit of one. Hello, Ronaldo. Good morning, Chrissy. Ronaldo, it is late afternoon, early evening at your place, I think. I don't think it's not 12 hours difference, is it? I keep forgetting. I have that set on my phone, but I don't have my phone close by. Morning, Chrissy. Glad to see you again. And be sure and share it around. Share the link around, folks. Ask people to like and follow. Follow. We'll talk a little bit about home and garden first. The house, there's not a whole lot going on as far as structure. We're still waiting on the porch rails. I'm getting very, very impatient. I've been about as polite as I can be with my contractor. It's just been going on too long. And the last word I got, he was waiting on reimbursement from the cancellation where he ordered, and he was canceling the order because it was taking so long. And the mix-ups at the supplier or at the distributor, I'm going to get after him this afternoon. I didn't want to start my morning in a foul mood from maybe hearing something that I didn't want to hear from him this morning. So we're still waiting on that. I do have the porch ready to go. It's not painted yet. I wanted to wait until they got the rails up to paint. I did spot paint, but we're getting that all situated there. We have a new housekeeper starting today. Hopefully, she will last more than one day. I tell you, I'm not a slave driver. I just the young lady that we had before, I could see that wasn't going to work very well. Not because she was young, not because she had a child, but all of the combinations of the children, the hours that I needed only on particular days like today and Friday. There's a window of time where you just can't go. And then during the first few times that I expected to have her here, it was a pretty set schedule. And then after that, she would be able to come and go as she needed to. But we didn't get past after that first visit. She came and looked around, said she could do it. She came the first day, and then she didn't come back. So I don't blame her. I mean, at her age, I didn't want to keep other people's houses either. But the lady that's coming today is a little older. She is from my church, actually, and hopefully she will work out at least once a week. At least once a week. I'm starting to pick up on guest reservations and inquiries. So we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a few minutes. But having her start before I get too busy will be a blessing. So that I can focus on some marketing and some other things that I need to do for the B&B to get it back up, because it's the low season is finished up now, and we're starting to gear up again and starting to see a lot of inquiries. Some of them we just can't accommodate, but we'll get into that a little later. The I've got some sourdough starter I've got to feed this today. I was going to do that yesterday and had some other things come up that I needed to take care of first. Nothing major or earth-shattering, but in the scale of things, the sourdough starter wasn't urgent. I keep my starter in the refrigerator anyway, so I can neglect it a little bit as it's sleeping. It's not a big deal. But I'm going to be looking for a new living room set. But I need something that's going to accommodate the dogs. I'm not getting rid of my dogs. The dogs like to get on the couch. I love the couch we have, as in it's leather. I got it at a resale shop, so I didn't buy it brand new. Ooh, but it has really held up to the dogs, but it just sets too low, and it's just really a problem. And then the side chair that I have, I'm going to need to get a recliner The side chair I have is not a recliner. I do have a footstool that I put my feet up on, but not to get too down in the weeds. Oh, it's 4:06 on your side, yeah, or 16:06, yeah. So it's almost dinner time for you. Can't stay. Want to say, hey, good morning. Yes, thank you, Christy. Um, yeah, it's time for. It's almost 4:20 there, isn't it, Ronaldo? It might be by the time this what I just said gets to you. Yes, last week was the big 420 celebration for all those people who do that. But I've got a well, it's just one of those old lady things. Actually, it's not an old lady thing. Actually, the more I discussed it with my physician, the more we realized this is something I've been dealing with for a while. It's lymphedema, which is an issue with the lymphatic system, and it can cause swelling and uncomfortable to some degrees in the extremities, and it can into your face and stuff too. But you notice it more in your hands and your legs. So initially, we were treating it with fluid pills. That I knew that didn't do any good. I had a physician many years ago that told me that I had bad valves in my veins, and so as the blood tried to pump, or as the heart tried to pump the blood up, the veins didn't close all the way, or the valves didn't close all the way, and then so I had some pooling, and that's what she blamed it on. Well, we've been watching this, and we knew that the fluid pills didn't. 10 minutes to go. Yeah, there you go. 420. Um, we knew the fluid pills weren't helping a whole lot, but I'm going to say at least since my 20, and we'll call it my adult life. We'll call 2021 the adult life. All of my adult life, I have struggled with some level of um, swelling in my lower legs. Light support hose used to take care of it very well. And so most of my office working professional career and stuff, I was able to manage with those. And oh, somebody just walked past the door. But as I've gotten a little older, it seems to get worse. Well, that's an actual condition that is genetic, and I thought I had the name of it down here real close, but I don't. A genetic condition. It looks like that's what I'm dealing with. That a genetic lymphatic condition. So, I mean, it's just really for me, it's a nuisance at this point. It's not life threatening, but it can get out of hand and it can lead to um, cellulitis. It can lead to the breakdown of the skin or the tissue, of like if it was my hands, if my hands were swelling. Good morning, Josh, Renegade Butcher. Glad to see you stop by for a few minutes. It can lead to some breakdown of the tissue, which could lead to infection, which could lead to, on the really extreme end, sepsis. I'm not there. It's possibly Milroy disease is what we're looking at right now. It's not definitive, but that's where we're leaning. So that's always a joy, isn't it, to have something like that crop up in your day to day. It does explain a few things, so I'm not going to be too tore up with it. Oh, now I got stuff freezing. Stop it. Your browser has lost connection to your camera. Well, that shouldn't be right. Let's see. No, I do have the right camera selected. It was already selected. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what is happening here. We just had a Well, darn it. I don't know what is. I'm back. Can you hear me now? Oh, that was that was. I don't know where that came from. It just blinked and it was gone. But I guess if it wasn't for a challenge every now and again. So if I'm back, you guys wave or something. There we go. Thank you, Ronaldo. So I don't know where I left off, but let me move on here to. I want to talk a little bit about something that I noticed with Airbnb and their sustainability project. I have an account. Most of you guys understand that I have an account, and I do bookings through Airbnb. It's not my preferred method, but it is the most popular. There's more people that use it than don't. Um, I'd like to think people had better sense, but they don't. So if they want to pay me to pay Airbnb for the privilege of marketing, so be it. But I was in the host forum, which is kind of a behind the scenes um, private area that hosts get to talk about things that you don't necessarily want guests to know. And the best of both worlds is if you're a host and a guest, because you can see, excuse me, it's a Mercury retrograde. Ask the woo woo people. I don't, I don't. Now the sun bursts. Yeah, I can get that because that's an electromagnetic kind of thing going through and causing trouble with things. But Mercury, I don't. Nah. Sorry, I got a sinus thing. And besides Mercury retrograde, it's an illusion. It's the illusion of the planet Mercury going backwards. So anyway, yeah, that's probably what it was. But Airbnb has this thing, and you can get a little green and white leaf on the side of your profile if you meet their sustainability guidelines. And um, I was reading some of the things that they were, how do you do this? How do you get to meet the qualifications as a valued host who's concerned about the sustainability of the planet? And how do you save the planet with choices that you make, and how do you share with your guests that you're concerned about the planet? I'm concerned. I don't want the planet exploding. I'd rather not have a nuclear bomb fall close to me. I don't want to die of radiation sickness. But do I think we can actually blow up the planet? No. Well, with nukes, yes, because I choose a disposable Kleenex instead of a cotton handkerchief, that has to be washed. No, no, I don't think we could do that. But one of the things that the last fortune cookie I had wasn't much of a fortune. It said you're surrounded by fortune hunters. That's not a fortune. But yeah, so you can show your guests just how much better you are than the rest of the world by the number of things that you do to help save the planet. And a couple of the things were, oh, I buy a low packaged laundry detergent. for example. It's not all. It may come in a cardboard box instead of the plastic jug that can be recycled and things. And we use or other people saying that they make the laundry soap. I don't want to. Um, I don't want to stay at a B&B that uses handmade um, laundry soap. I've made that laundry soap, and I know that laundry soap is not very good. And it may be okay for your family, but I don't want to sleep on sheets that was washed in it. Okay. I used that stuff for a couple years, and I finally I said, no more of this. So you have to use more of it. You have to use, and they say, oh, it's all natural. No, there's a lot of chemicals in it. Okay. I get that baking soda might be natural and washing soda may be more natural, but it's still chemicals. Okay. Poison ivy is natural. Hemlock's natural, but you don't want to be eating it. Okay. So we can, um, we can move past that. Now, I don't get into virtue signaling, and kind of saying I don't get into virtue signaling is a virtue signal perhaps in itself. So it's a catch 22. But these folks were promoting, oh, we went out and we bought these systems to catch rainwater. So you buy something to catch rainwater in when you could take everyday items and make something to catch rainwater in. And we're not talking about enough rainwater to wash your laundry, flush all your toilets. We're not talking about a whole system. There's a couple of people that do. We're not talking about people with big underground systems. We're talking about people who were getting what the equivalent are a few barrels and hooking them to the downspouts. And I want to show you something. Where I put it, there it is. I'm not the first person to be concerned about these things, and I don't want to present myself that way. But look, you see this? This is a book I wrote in 2016. Still available on demand from Amazon. And in it, I showed, and they're all my own photos. So here's a small thing on making rain barrels from those smelly old pickle tubs. Okay. I didn't even go to the hardware store. We had these spigots on them here out in the garage. Now, not everybody's going to have spigots. But the worst part about putting this together was getting in there to fasten the spigot on. I was a lot smaller than I can't fit in those. I still have these. I still have these in the back of my house. And, I didn't go buy them at now. Okay, maybe you need to go buy them. Maybe you don't have them close. Maybe you don't have access to a barrel like this. You can use a trash can. You can use a trash can. It doesn't have to be a pickle barrel. Here's something else. This was something little that's cute. I still have these too. I called it a little seamstress helper, and it's just made with a couple of glass candlesticks and a couple of nice old plates that I found at the resale shop. But sustainable? Yeah, they didn't go in the landfill. Here's another one. This is just a little message board made out of a shelf. The door, cabinet door. There's the cabinet door. It was an upper cabinet. Some chalk paint and some doorknobs for hooks to hang stuff from. But this isn't the kind of stuff you saw on the Amazons or the Airbnb. This was all new stuff, new fancy. And I hate that. My point there is that these folks were going out buying new stuff, brand new stuff, and talking about how they were saving the planet by doing it. They're buying new individual soaps and talking about how they are saving the planet. I've got some battery operated, motion detective soap dispensers in my bathtub, or not in the tub, but along the tub and on my bathroom sink. So I can fill those. So there's no waste, almost no waste. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. So I was really, I was looking at this and I'm thinking, you people are so self-righteous. Oh my gosh. Now, if you don't have access, I get it. I get it. These folks were, and also they're talking about putting these things in a standalone facility. So you're renting a cabin, which to me is a waste as well because I'm bringing folks into the house. They're staying in my home. I'm already using the electricity. Two more people added to that with LED lights is not going to increase my electricity usage hardly at all. But a standalone building has got to be completely wired, and they're going to use a whole nother level of energy. Even with solar, they're going to be using more than if we were staying here. But that's just where I'm at. It's just it baffles me sometimes the lengths people will go to get some kind of generic recognition of, oh, I'm so good. Can we not just accept the fact that we're good and not really need other people's approval? But anyways, I'll go through that. Thank you, Ronaldo, for that over there in the chat. Look behind you. Yeah, look behind you. There's somebody asking about the classes. All right, let's see. I am still wanting. Okay, this is where I want to get into talking a little bit about using Nostr, using Bitcoin, and those things to as a small B&B. I've recently started. Actually, April the 7th is when I kicked my Nostr account off. I signed in and started aggravating poor Josh about what do I do now? What do I do now? And Ronaldo was good to help me with moving my my Satoshis around. So what I'm trying to do with Nostr is I'm trying to promote the B&B. Okay, I'm trying to promote Hosting House. And in the meantime, I'm trying to connect, obviously, with people who are participating in Nostr. And I'm trying to learn how to use it, and it's a little challenging for me. I'm coming at it from a different perspective than a lot of the folks that I'm involved with on, like the Telegram and the self-reliance people and the prepping people and all that stuff. Because as a small B&B, I'm not selling meat and freeze-dried candy and tactical gear and things like that. So I'm offering what I'm offering with the B&B and trying to reach out to the folks in this community is a place to stay with somebody who shares their basic values. And I want to develop a system where I can take Bitcoin in payment for a room for those who prefer to trade Bitcoin for lodging or meals, or exchange Bitcoin for fiat or exchange fiat for, how I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit. So I'm looking for the best way to invoice people for this. Now, I can use WooCommerce, I believe. I haven't been in WooCommerce for a while, but I can use WooCommerce to sell things. Like if I was selling the book directly to people, I could use WooCommerce and I could set a Bitcoin price, or you could pay through your fiat dollars to WooCommerce, and then I can move it over to Satoshis. or move it to a Bitcoin wallet. But for the room reservation, it's a service, but there there has to be an element of blocking the dates on a calendar, on the booking calendar. And I can't be constantly like this with the calendar open looking for the occasional request to do this, and so that I can block the dates off in order to, hold them for the guest. It's you need an Airbnb Eco Scout badge. Well, maybe we could, between us, Renegade, we could probably come up with somebody who could make one. Hey, maybe John Willis will make them. I don't know him. You probably know him. You'll be seeing him in the fall. You could ask him to make them. Airbnb Eco Scout. That's that's that is precious. That needs to be a T-shirt. Make that, Josh. Make that to a T-shirt. See there's a good one, a good T-shirt one. But I've got to work on this process. I was actually, to kind of swing back around to Nostr a little bit. Josh had a live. It's called a NostrNest, and I was listening. I was eavesdropping for a while until he called me out, and I joined the conversation a little bit. It's kind of like it's kind of like a live discussion. Well, it is a live discussion, but it's like everybody being in a room together, or on a multi-person interview, but it's just on Nostr, and the audio is on Nostr. Josh he used StreamYard to record it, but it's just open. It's just like a party line phone call. You can call in and talk, or however you want to do it, kind of like old school radio, huh? So we were on that. We were talking about that a little bit, on some of the ways that you can use Nostr to book. Like I can say for the next hour from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, the first person who reaches out to me can reserve the guest room for I don't know, Labor Day weekend in the United States, Labor Day weekend, for if they pay by Bitcoin, they'll get a 50% discount on the rate. And the room rate is, let's say, $50 US, and then that would be $25 US fiat, and so whatever that converts in that window from 11 to 12 for Bitcoin, you'd be able to pay that. Well, I'm gonna have to. It limits me to this window of time, and I have to be actively involved, watching for the email or the message. If I'm using Nostr, the message to come through, then I've got to block the room. Then I've got to invoice the person, and then give them a window of time to finalize the payment. And if they don't, then open the room back up. There's just a lot of steps. Whereas right now with with regular uh, reservation software, you go in, and if I give you a promo code, you key in the promo code, you block the dates, the software does all that. So I'm hoping that some of the folks that are working over there can come up with a way to make this happen. Now, I also know that there are other, across the world, which my vision, my experience is very limited here in the United States, that there are ways to do this in other countries. I just don't see. I just can't find it yet here in the United States which one it is that I'm going to use. The actual software program I use, FreeBook, uh, is based in the UK, but um, Bitcoin's not an option with it. Nothing that I can find, not even at the higher subscription levels, because they've got several different levels. So I don't know that using WooCommerce isn't an option with it. I'm going to end up having to find some kind of specialty program if it's worth that, because it's like with electric vehicles. There's not much of a demand on me. I've had one in the years since 2017 that I've been hosting that I've had anybody ask about charging an electric vehicle. And Airbnb lets you identify your site as a place where you can charge an electric vehicle. Have I reached out to the supplier of the software? No, I have not, Ronaldo. I have not at this point. I'm kind of thinking it's going to be beyond their abilities, not because they're dumb or anything, but the software they provide is very basic, and it's designed for not the larger establishments, the best that I can say. Can't say I use one myself, but lots of options. One, what software program, Renegade? You use WooCommerce, don't you? Or do you? I'm still looking for that good setup. Did you, Josh? Did you help? You said you helped Nicole. Is she using WooCommerce? I swear I thought I heard her say one time she used WooCommerce. You think a comment disappeared? Plugins, yeah, for WordPress. Yeah, I don't. I'm not opposed to it. I had someone ask me in Nostr if I took how did he word it? Anonymous Bitcoin. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I did listen to Jack Spirko's show here a while back. I was playing his playlist on Bitcoin, and I heard him talk about the anonymous using Bitcoin anonymously. Both Brian and I accept Bitcoin and or Lightning on WooCommerce. Yeah, she's setting up a crypto checkout this week. So yeah, so she's wanting, Josh, she's wanting to take all of them, and so she's doing a generic crypto. And then does that capture Bitcoin as well? I do have a WordPress based website, and so the plugin, and I do have WooCommerce, but I don't have much on it. And I don't think I have a charge. I think I have a download a little information sheet download thing that's real easy. But the challenge, I because what I'm doing is not tangible, and even if I do special menus, you're not taking away a tangible book. You know, I'm not shipping you a book. I'm not shipping you a PDF of a book. I'm not shipping that kind of stuff. So I'm not 100% sure how to make this work. And I'm not around enough people on a day-to-day basis to sit down and just flesh it out, you know. So, and it's hard to do that on these. Lightning options. There is a booking tool for consultations that Lightning Native I use. Um, that might work, Josh. The consultation, is that the same one that? No, that was a calendaring option. No, is that the same one that Brian uses? Because I booked 30 minutes with him. And so I used that booking tool. So somewhere I have an email with the name of it. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to deep dive into WooCommerce some more, and I may have to do some upgrades on mine because I haven't really used it much at all. I was doing some soaps and bath salt. He uses a different one, but I recently added the Lightning one to my site. That would be very interesting to me, Josh. If you could share that maybe through Telegram or something, if it's not something you can put up. I don't know if I've got my thing here set up to that would block any kind of links or not. But yeah, I want to look at that a little deeper. Hopefully this week I can get some time to, maybe even today. I do have the housekeeper coming in today, but it'll be this afternoon, and hopefully I need to go to the bank. I may have to do that. No, I can't. I've got so much stuff to do, but hopefully I may be able to get that worked out. YouTube eats links, but I message. Yeah, that's great. Because if the thing's going to have to be, I'm going to have to be able to tie it into my current calendaring, or I'm going to have to constantly manually. But I may be getting the cart before the horse because there may not be enough demand on it to worry about it at this point. It may not be as much of a time suck as I'm worried because there may not be enough demand for reservations with Bitcoin. That may be where I'm hanging up. I'm getting worked up over something that hasn't happened yet. So I don't have this overwhelming demand where I'm not able to keep it up. But I anticipate it. So I anticipate having all the Bitcoins. Not all the Bitcoins, but I want your Bitcoins. I want your Satoshis. um, Google Calendar, yeah. So Free to Book does sync with Google Calendar, but it doesn't sync the other direction. So I would have to be looking at the Google Calendar, and I have so many things syncing there. My calendar looks like a rainbow. I mean, there's just different colors all the time. But it wouldn't sync the other way. Now, maybe it might be at the next level up. Because right now, what I am subscribed for with Free to Book is for management of one other platform, and that's Airbnb. Um, yeah, yeah. This is a challenge. And then I do need, then the wallets come into play, don't they, Ronaldo? So I want, well, if it works with Blue Wallet, because Blue Wallet is Lightning. Yeah, I don't. I hate. I'm sorry to have these silent spells here. I'm thinking, like Ralphie said to the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm thinking. Go away. I'm thinking. Leave me alone. I'm thinking. So yeah, it should work with Blue Wallet. See, getting all these different things connected is my headache. It's so easy in the stuff that's already established. Everybody takes. We should have a chat on Telegram sometime. There are a few areas to cover in the solution. Yeah, we could do that, Ronaldo. We can do that. Um, when they all back in the day when the Discover card was new and it was almost completely tied into um, yeah, Blue Wallet just connects to your other wallet. Yeah, I need those. I need that hub. I need that hub. I need to be able to, you know, yeah. Um, Back in the day when Discover Card was mostly a product of Sears, there were very few places that would take it. Visa and MasterCard were um, separate. Well, they're still separate brands, but um, then Discover became the gorilla in the room. And although Visa and MasterCard were still big players, American Express fell away. There was 2 or 3 other ones that fell away. Well, MasterCard used to be MasterCharge. The point of this rambling is that until Discover got a good foothold in the commercial credit, not commercial as in business credit, but commercial, I go shopping with it. Consumer credit, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It was difficult to find a place that would use them. Then they were everywhere, and they were just as accepted as MasterCard and Visa. American Express has always been an odd little duck, and for the longest time, you had to pay a fee to use an American Express card. Now they have options with different rates and stuff that you don't pay a fee. And where I'm going with this is trying to learn to incorporate Bitcoin with all the different wallets and all the different options. In my mind, is as confusing now as those credit cards as they were getting fleshed out used to be back then, because you could get a Discover card with very little problems. They did a very minimal background check of any kind. If you said you made enough money, they took your word for it. Whereas Visa and MasterCard, there were bigger hoops to jump. So it was easy entry, but you couldn't use it just anywhere. Now you can use it just about any place. And Visa, everybody, even Fold card has a Visa logo on it. So it's everywhere. And Josh says the Lightning checkout I use now is self-custody with Bitcoin Pay, BTC Pay server, either on your own node or a node you buy access to. Automatically moves to my self-custody wallet on chain or Lightning. See, and this is where I get, running a node's not a big deal, except that it's another thing. It's another piece of equipment. It's another thing that can go wrong. It's another thing you have to keep up. That's one of the biggest hassles for me when it comes to open source. I used to run my website years ago with open source software. And it just got to be a nightmare trying to keep all of the security updated. And then that's why you pay people to do this. You pay, IT professionals to take care of this stuff nowadays. But back at that point, a lot of it you were able to do yourself. That is my biggest concern with some of these, is that I just don't have time to keep up on all of the things and keep everything else going. So, right, I wouldn't have to run my own node. I'm going to have to pay somebody to have access to theirs, which is more money out of my pocket, which is not that much anyway. And usually what I'm finding is at my level of things, a lot of things that are tend to be cost prohibitive because I don't have the turnover. I don't have um, the large income because I don't rent the room back to back to back to back to back. So I'm going to have to diversify the income in other ways to bring it in. The notary work is falling by the wayside slowly because they're wanting me to go further and further out for fewer and fewer jobs while the housing market is doing all this stuff, especially around here. So now I'm trying to consolidate and find some other things to do. Let's see. I happen to have access to the server as a bonus to other stuff I already paid for. Setting it up is a little tricky, but once it's done, it's done. Right. Right. I guess it would be similar to hosting your website. I believe I owe $15 a year paid in Lightning for access to their server plus 10 gigs of video storage for Nostr. That's not bad. $15 a year is not bad at all. I pay more than that for my website that may or may not get used. I pay a lot more than that for. Of course, I'm paying for the domain name and everything else. So yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's another reason why I want to get back away. Well, I say back away, but I'd like to use less Airbnb than anybody else. Than DirectBook. I want DirectBook. DirectBook is better for my guests, and DirectBook is better for me. And then if we're able to use, process Bitcoin, all the better for the rest of us. If we can do it anonymously, if I get the hang of that, then sweet for everybody involved. And if I can learn a little bit, and if I can help some other people figure some stuff out from time to time, it'll be good. So yeah, so we'll roll over to just a little bit on Nostr. I have been using it with several different of the clients. I've got Damus and Iris on my iPhone. Oops, that's not right. Damus and Iris on my iPhone. I have Snort and Iris on this desktop, and I have Amethyst on my tablet upstairs. And in Josh's chat yesterday evening, one of the fellas was, in his NostrNest, shared with us a site, and I'm sure Josh will go over that in his talk this evening and on his Telegram channel. The link to fine tune the relays. I was under the impression that the more relays you had, the better. And in that conversation we had last night, it was no, 12 is about the most relays you want to have. And I was able to fine tune my relays this morning from the link that he gave us. And he said, update your relays and then leave your clients open for a while and let them cycle through. I have noticed that Snort is still being kind of snotty. I had a post. I was trying to get a post. It doesn't want to go, so I'm having to close it out. Iris, on the other hand, seems to be working very sweetly so far. And I was teasing Josh about I'm not going to let go that I got the Jack Dorsey 1337 zap on my first day on Nostr, and I was telling him I managed to see a post by Jack Dorsey that said his parents were on, and I connected with Jack Dorsey's mom. I think I connected with his dad too, but I didn't get a response back from his dad. His mom she actually did a like, not a zap, but she did a like. So Oops, helps if I use the right mouse. I've got more than one mouse on my desk, not in my pocket, but on my desk. I use these. I don't know. Have you ever used? I use these rollerball mice. I don't know if you've ever seen these before. They're ergonomic. I've been using it for years. I mean, since like 2000, if not before. Um, you use a little rollerball, obviously, with your thumb, and you don't scoot your hand all over the place. I love it. Trackball mouse. I love it. And I have one for every desktop machine I have. So I have two here. I have one over in the office, and I just almost can't use another one. Almost can't use it. Ronaldo, I know that I've seen Josh say that they weren't ending their complete services. And there he's finally got to respond. Ronaldo was asking, what do you know about Blue Wallet and their service coming to an end? And Josh says, for those of you who are listening, Josh says it's only the wallets they offered through an associated node. The app is still active and being updated. You just have to connect to an LND hub for your own wallet or node. And that's the Blue Wallet controversy. So I don't think that I've said anything earth-shattering. It's gotten to the point now. I usually go through and I thank people who have um, boosted me on Fountain.fm. Um, HJ has been very good about doing that. Very good about doing that. But I'm getting so many little contributions, little zaps, like from Renegade and from Brian and from Jack Dorsey. Hello, plug Jack Dorsey. Somebody tell him I keep using his name. 6 degrees of separation. There's somebody out there I know that knows somebody who knows somebody who knows Jack Dorsey personally. Anyway, it's just almost impossible for me to even try to keep up with that. Now, I mean, I can call your names out when you send, when you give me large boosts over there on Fountain.fm. But if I tried to name everybody in the past 3 weeks who have zapped me sats through Nostr or anything like that, I just can't. I just can't. There's just too many. I mean, I've got just an enormous number. And this isn't all of them. The Lightning Tip bot is showing 11,349, but I've got 3 times that over in Blue Wallet, or not Blue Wallet, over in Alby. And I don't know if I can pop that open. No, I can't. It's locked. I've just in my other wallets, I just have a lot more because each one of them's going to a different. Well, not every one of them, but a lot of them are going to different places because I had to set them up differently. But I just can't. I just can't, and it tickles me to death. And I know they're just little bits of sunshine, just little tiny drops of sunshine, but that makes me so tickled and happy. So there's nothing exceptionally exciting. I do want to talk about. I am still doing the promotional code for Direct Book with the Podcast 5, which is for anyone who actually hears this recording, whether it's on Fountain or one of the other podcast uh, um, providers, or whether it's here on YouTube, or whether it's on Rumble, or whether it's on if I upload it to any of the other ones. If you're listening from somewhere else, then and you hear it, so Podcast 5 will get you 5% off your entire stay. It also would include any of the specials that we may have running, and we still have the coffee and chocolate. That one's going to run for a long, long time. A long, long time. We're coming up to the month of May pretty soon, and I'm going to be thinking about something for Mayflowers. Maybe it will be a promotional for fresh flowers in the guest room, which you really should have anyway. But when nickels and dimes, stuff starts adding up. If you're a direct book guest, you're already getting a very special breakfast, and you're getting very special opportunities for breakfasts that aren't provided to our Airbnb guests. For instance, I do offer I know it doesn't necessarily sound all that exciting, but it's really delicious. It's fried corn mush with either, I will give you a little container of local honey or local molasses and bacon, and it's really good. It's like a fried. It's not. It's like fried cornmeal. It's kind of, but it's not. You'd have to see it. Or a rice pudding with blueberries. I do that, and with fresh toast or sourdough. Sourdough is something I love to do for my guests, and that's going to almost always be my direct book guests. So there are some little special things that come with direct booking that you can only get through the direct book link. And that link is provided in the show notes as well as the Airbnb booking link, because some people just prefer Airbnb. There's a little bit of security to some people because they get wrapped up in this pre-approved stuff. And, honestly, it doesn't take a whole lot to be pre-approved with Airbnb. An ID of some form and a good email address is about all it takes. But that's going to be it for now. I'm going to start wrapping it up. It's actually a little after 11. I should have already been done. I do appreciate you guys, Ronaldo and Josh, for swinging by. And of course, Chrissy was here a little earlier, and I always love to see Chrissy here. I know there was a couple people who kind of popped in and popped out without saying hello. And shame on you. You should always say hello. I don't I type like a monkey today. Oh, well, maybe you could hire a monkey to do your typing for you this morning, Ronaldo. Well, wait a minute now. It's what, 5 o'clock there? What were you doing at 4:20? Maybe that's why I don't type so well today. But I am going to go, and I thank you guys for joining me and sharing in the conversation. And I hope I was able to say something that somebody out there can get some benefit from. And we will let that go for now. And I will be back on Friday for Friday Live Unscripted. And maybe we'll try to do a NostrNest on Friday. I don't know. Josh set a high bar for me there. I think I'm ahead of him just a little bit on the number of actual podcasts out there, but he's got me on the NostrNests. So we may try that. We may try that on Friday. So for now, I'm going to go. You guys have a great day. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.